when I was a middle-aged man. At the age of 45, I decided I'm gonna be a man who imports wine. I import wine. I started a wine importing business because I had worked for a long time in corporate America, 25 years. I got to a point where I felt like my life there had run its course and I was looking for something different, to seek a career or a path that would allow me to live the life that I wanted to live. Literally, this all happens over the course of a weekend. Starting Friday night, I go to the bar, I go to my dependable corner bar. I've been talking with the bartender about things. What should I do with this buyout offer? And he says, you should take it. And the next thing you know, you're doing shots of chartreuse and you're saying, I'm gonna be a wine importer.
Starting a wine import and distribution company. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it if you're not passionate about it, about the industry as a whole. Passion is not always enough. I am passionate about the industry because I grew up with it, but that would have never helped me switch hats. And what I mean by that, I have to be my own delivery guy, my own salesperson, my bookkeeper. When it comes to alcohol regulation, you have to be patient. And I would say, don't do it if you don't have those assets. Passion is not enough. It's great to have, but it's not enough.
Monday morning, I went to work and I called my supervisor and I told him I was resigning.
The steps to starting a wine importing business are initially quite concrete. And so many people have either no information, no knowledge, or are confused about them. So the very first thing you do is you decide what your name is going to be and what your entity is going to be. Whether it's an LLC or a sole proprietor or a corporation, it really does not matter. It is up to you to decide that. And then there are various documents you need. A letter of intent from a winery, having an employer identification number, various things that you require to start out to obtain your federal basic permit. And the federal basic permit is the license. So that is the starting point. Now, from there, once you have your federal basic permit, as to what and how much you want to import, where you're located, can dictate how much you can do.
Cash cycle in wine importing. You pay up front in Europe. You get the wine to a port, it's consolidated, it's put into a container. The container sails on an ocean freight ship. It's received here in the US. It's in your warehouse and then you start selling it. And by that time, 3 or 4 months may have passed. And so you have to essentially pay up front, and then that entire 3 or 4 months, you're not getting paid for that wine until it hits your shore, and then it's how fast can you sell it.
Why Italian wine? Well, when you think about French wine, to me, French wine is like that couple that is impeccably dressed. Every detail is absolutely perfect. The hair, makeup, whatever. Then you go to Italy and you have Italian wine. Italian wine's like that racy couple. The hair's a little wild, a little bit unkempt, but in a sexy kind of a way at the same time. There's just more possibilities there. And I think that translates to the wine, where there's potential for good value, and I can find that very easily in Italy. Combined with that raciness factor, it was an obvious first place for me to go.
We can use definitions of Italy in many different ways. The land of the museums. I would like to say is a vineyard. Italy as a vineyard means that you can have an incredible variety of vines, incredible variety of grapes, incredible variety of wines.
Italian wine truly represents Italian wine people. You know, it's the biodiversity of the country and what it represents. I mean, if you think about it, we have somewhat like 600 indigenous grapes, which are actually identified and cataloged, but there are thousands, right? So if you look at like other countries, just a handful make, like France, the handful make 80% of the wines. So I think it is complex, you know, it's complicated and complex, but at the same time, it is incredibly fun.
For a businessman in the United States to invest into the import of the Italian wine and distribution of Italian wine is a good bet for the future.
He's going to become a wine importer. And I remember my initial reaction was, you know, what the hell is this guy thinking? Why are you doing this in the middle of a pandemic?
This was a choice about how I wanted to live my life. I hit a point in my life where my job, what I wanted from a career, was no longer about trying to enrich myself personally, trying to retire early. I felt like I had chosen a life. I'd chosen a path. What I didn't realize as I was making that choice was the price I was paying. The price of sleepless nights, of stress, the dynamics of corporate America. 15 plus years of dealing with what we called P&L problems, or profit and loss problems. There's a problem with the P&L. We're not making enough money. What are we going to do? What's our plan? How are we going to make enough money? Who are we making enough money for? Today, running Wide Roots, I have a P&L problem every day. But you know what? It's my P&L problem. So the normal challenges that you would face in starting the business are, you need capital to start it because you have to buy wine, you have to bring it over, and then you go for months before you can turn around and sell it. It's very competitive.
It requires persistence, patience. It isn't always going to go the way you want it to, obviously. Finding a distributor, I think, is one of the most difficult things.
Distributors were very slow to pick up new brands.
Because, for instance, lots of distributors may have lots of Italian wines, for example. But it's finding the niche and finding the opportunity and approaching a distributor or a retailer in such a way that they find compelling. So it's really, there are lots of challenges because in the end, this is selling.
Then with the pandemic, there were different challenges that came up.
You know, the pandemic, it's interesting. What I found is that it is very challenging. There's no getting around that.
As a new importer, it was hard for me to get noticed by somebody.
And for some people, it's more challenging than they imagine because they're just starting on their journey.
And then restaurants were closed.
But I am also finding that these same people, if they are able to sustain a business or make some headway, then that's probably the most difficult their business is going to be. And these are the people who have real resilience and are able to stick with it.
The consumers have to be confident on the Italian wines, and also business people have to be confident in investing and importing Italian wines, is the fact that there is no corner of the world without Italian wine.
My favorite wine would be a Malbec.
Anything that my wife will drink.
A full-bodied Malbec in the winter.
Love a good Riesling. I like Zinfandel.
So it could be Malbec.
I do love Shiraz.
Mine's the Cabernet Sauvignon.
I know it's the same thing. It's got to be my favorite, Cabernet Sauvignon.
You know, I think my favorite wine is a Sauvignon Blanc.
I'm a huge fan of reds, so I like the drier wines. I love a Cab Sauv.
Sauvignon Blanc.
You know, my mother drinks Cabernet Merlot.
Cabernet.
Like a Chateauneuf pop.
And it is a hard sell. The Italian wines are a lot of times overlooked or underappreciated. And I think Russ does have a bit of a hill that he needs to climb. But I think that the wines speak for themselves. I'm drinking his Verdicchio right now, and this honestly is one of my favorite wines that Russ has brought in, and it is so cheap.
Italian wine is incredibly fragmented, individualistic, so many different varieties. It creates a lot of confusion. So I thought that something I can do is to create an educational program, because if you look at even the programs that exist, whether at a very high echelon level like Master of Wine or Court of Somm, or even WSET diploma, it's just the Italian wine is a sliver, like just a sliver of the curriculum. So we wanted to do a deep dive into Italian wine, and that's why I started the Italian Wine Academy, so that we can have quote unquote Italian wine ambassadors who can go around and really truly understand the Italian wine.
There are over 500 that we've identified and that we're making in commercially significant numbers in Italy, 500 different grape varieties, all with unique flavors offering distinct taste experiences to people that I think is pretty excited. That being said, in the age of social media and influencer marketing, it's not quite so simple. That's where I come in. That's where our Mid-Italy International Academy comes in, and that's where our students come in, because they become the ambassadors for these Italian grape varieties.
To become an Italian wine ambassador, it is intense, it's complicated, but I think it's worth it.
Because they've come to Italy to take on this endeavor, this course of study and this exam in the end. They've visited with winemakers, oftentimes family winemakers that making wine for generations, and they start to fall in love. And they bring that sense of excitement and that empathy to the wine selling experience. You know, when I'm selling a bottle of wine, sure, I'm selling a commercial product, but I'm selling all of the heritage and culture behind it. And I think that's something also that gets lost in the translation in this rush to marketing memes and influencers. It takes just a little bit of care, which sometimes doesn't translate over social media. So it's interactions, it's in person, over a plate of food with a glass or a bottle of wine that reminds people that Italy's got something unique and special.
We now have breaking news.
I'm finally going to Italy.
Glare distinct varieties. Glare lunga. Mercato. Regions. Umbria. Marche. Fiano regions. Campania. Gracetto characters about fennel. Not listed, but that's the one I get. Uncomplicated white body lemon, white flower chamomile, lime, yellow apple, high acidity.
Some of you will be disappointed, no doubt, but we will always welcome you back whenever you want. How many times you want to come back? Okay? All right, I know it'll be painful, but let's get this started. It's like, whenever we get to this part, I'm like so excited, but I know it really kills me that it's going to make some of you very upset. Russ Congratulations! Okay. Oh, no. Bravo. Dai, second. Okay. I'm sweating like a snake. All right, so thank you.
I don't know a lot about Italian wine, and whatever I know about Italian wine, I've discovered from Russ. But he's got this white Nebbiolo, which I didn't even know that they came in white. And I love it. It's good summer wine. It makes me look like I know what I'm talking about when I say, oh, I've got this great white Nebbiolo from Italy. And yeah, Russ makes me look like I'm more sophisticated than I actually am.
The Rocca family started with the wine industry a long time ago, and it was my great-great-grandfather Francesco that started to bring the bulk wine from the south of Italy to the north. We produce wines mainly from the south of Italy, Apulia, and Piedmont, where we have another winery. We are also able to bottle wine from a lot of regions from Italy. The philosophy of the Rocca winery is definitely to share the love that we have for wine, because for us it's not only a job, but it's our daily life, it's our life. So for us, producing wine, bottling wine, and selling wine, it also means to share part of us.
Agave is a little bit less, well, it's less aromatic. It's more concentrated on the palate
Exactly,
than it is on
and
the
also
nose.
for me it's very salty.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, this has a touch of the salinity, but it's everything's pretty well in balance. That's a nice Arnese.
Thank you. Every step has a meaning. Every step has a history. So for me, wine is art and is also a way to transmit our culture around the world, especially the Italian culture.
Benvenuti a Villa Corniole. The family started to grow grapes a long time ago. We had always been growers from generations, but in the past it was just a passion, more a passion. About 20 years ago, my father decided to follow his own dream. And from there we started to say, okay, it's not just only a passion, it has to become a work right now. You can have an idea about the terroir.
It smells amazing here.
Think about that only in Sembra Valley, that in total is a very small valley. All the viticulture here is made by hand. You can understand why it's not possible to enter with machinery. In Valle di Cembra we grow mainly white varieties, so Chardonnay that we produce as still but also sparkling wine. We grow Müller-Thurgau that here in Cembra Valley is considered the symbol of the valley. We grow Gewürztraminer as aromatic typology too, and recently as family we started to grow also Pinot Noir.
It smells amazing.
We cultivate mainly Pinot Grigio, that is also quite important for us as typology in production.
Pinot Grigio. Grigio is Italian for gray. It's a white wine grape with gray, white, red, and purple skins. Pinot Grigio is almost always made to be a dry white wine with light body, and the best wines are crisp, refreshing, and well-balanced with firm acidity and subtle fruit and floral notes.
We cultivate Teroldego, that is a red local variety.
Teroldego is a deeply colored red wine grape grown mostly in the Trentino region in the Dolomites, where it's also the most important red grape. It produces deeply colored red wines with an intense fruit, but can also have an alpine herbal character.
We always love to talk about mountain terroir. We are high on mountains, we are near Dolomites. We really try to work in a good equilibrium between man, environment, and the nature.
Ciao. Ciao Russ. Ciao.
La storia della nostra famiglia risale alla fine degli anni 800 con il bisnonno Bernardo, dal quale poi ha proseguito l'attività il nonno Guido e poi di conseguenza Papà Piero. Devo dire proprio che la svolta importante che ha dato soprattutto nel settore della viticoltura, anche della vinificazione, è stata fatta dal Papà Piero. Valtellina, produciamo l'uva Nebbiolo Chiavennasca. E questo è importantissimo. Il far capire al consumatore che l'uva Nebbiolo Chiavennasca è quasi unica, perché se non è piemontese è della Valtellina. L'altro aspetto è di far capire che questo nostro vino da uva Nebbiolo delle Alpi Retiche, vino di montagna, si contraddistingue per l'eleganza, la finezza, la sapidità e il gusto.
Le uve vengono vendemmiate solitamente una settimana, 10 giorni prima della vendemmia normale di tutte le altre denominazioni, per il motivo di mantenere la consistenza dell'uva, quindi un'uva non troppo matura, non surmatura, perché poi va adagiata sulle cassette e trasportata a spalla, a mano, giù per le scalette dei terrazzamenti. Quindi deve essere un'uva bella soda, cioè che non deve rompersi, non si deve schiacciare.
Nel 2020.
Diciamo che il paesaggio valtellinese è caratterizzato prima di tutto il versante evitato è quello esposto a sud, quindi la Valtellina poi è disposta est-ovest, quindi i terrazzamenti dove sono piantate le viti possono godere del sole, dell'insolazione, del calore tutta la giornata. Si crea un microclima particolare in quanto abbiamo alle spalle dei vigneti abbiamo le Alpi Retiche con le cime di 4.000 metri del Bernina, quindi la Svizzera, mentre a sud abbiamo le Prealpi Orobiche che bloccano le correnti umide che arrivano dalla pianura padana. Quindi si crea un microclima particolare con delle escursioni termiche notevoli, anche d'estate, che giovano sulla maturazione, ma proprio anche sulla vegetazione della vite, della pianta. Quindi la vite deve proprio fare fatica a sopravvivere, a produrre, e così ci dà dei vini concentrati, dei vini eleganti, e questo è riconosciuto, anche la differenza che ci può essere tra i nebbioli valtellinesi e piemontesi, ecco, proprio la sostanziale differenza del terreno.
È un piacere il vino. Il vino è un momento, crea la convivialità, crea anche le amicizie, nei momenti giusti e migliori generalmente della vita, perché il vino lo si beve, generalmente lo si condivide sempre con qualcuno, non lo bevi da solo, lo bevi in compagnia di qualcuno. Quindi è gioia, come dicevo, è vita il vino. In Italia, che il vino è sempre stato prodotto, era la bevanda della nazione italiana, è proprio quel simbolo che è sempre stato un simbolo di un benvenuto in ogni casa, in ogni famiglia. Sono fichi d'India. Oh, ok. Proprio lisce. Oh, yes. Va bene. Si può fare fatica.
Un occhetto e un pezzo d'orata escono tutti assieme.
Va bene,
piacere.
Poi il rosso ve lo apro. Grazie. Grazie a te. Siamo noi onorati di averti incontrato, Russ, che rappresenti prima di tutto la nostra famiglia e i nostri vini. E ti consideriamo un fratello, uno della nostra famiglia, con lo Stefano, l'Angela, Simone, tutti i collaboratori e il Papa Pietro che ci guarda dall'alto. Grazie Russ.
Capisco.
Grazie.
Capisco.
Grazie.
Until next time.
So happy to have you here, and our history started in 1948, when my grandfather started to the first vineyards, and now we have 40 hectares, and we are the third generation, as you know. Serdiana and our area is now the most important about wine making and winemakers of Sardinia. And now we are the third generation of the family. We are pretty young, but in the same time, we have 40 hectares and divided in 4 properties where we love to cultivate just traditional grape varieties. So our focus is on authentic grapes and authentic wines, of course. So all of the varieties, in particular like Nuragus, Monica, or Bovale, are traditional of this area.
Nuragus is a white wine grape variety that has been grown in Sardinia since ancient times. The Nuragus vine gives a medium-bodied wine with a straw color, and the aromas are very fresh and include white flower, green apple, and citrus. It's the perfect beach wine.
Sardinian is a special island in Italy. We have the sea, land is limestone, and also the minerality is the most important characteristic of our wines.
Vermentino is a white wine grape that produces light to medium-bodied wines with a fresh acidity and pleasant aromas of peach, lemon, and herbs. It grows primarily in Liguria, Tuscany, and Sardinia, and close to the sea, which gives it this salinity that adds to how refreshing it is.
We are in the south of Sardinia, close to Cagliari. We are in a windy area. In the same time, we are surrounded by the hills.
Monica, Nuragus, and Nasco are the most important grape of Cagliari area, no?
Monica is a red grape variety found on the island of Sardinia off the west coast of Italy. Although it's relatively unknown, it's one of the island's most common varieties. Monica wines tend to be medium-bodied, with gentle tannins and fresh fruit characters. They're unusually complex for a medium-bodied wine, yet are still good for everyday drinking. In Sardinia, this wine will be paired with almost any food. Cannonau is genetically the same grape as Grenache or Garnacha. It has good structure with firm tannins, medium acidity, warmth, spicy notes, and a round fruit character that I best describe as Mediterranean. In recent years, Cannonau has been associated with longevity and linked to the unusually long lifespan of the Sardinian population, where many live well into their 90s.
I think that when you drink a glass of wine, you have to stop a little bit to enjoy the moment, to enjoy your dish, to enjoy your glass, and to enjoy life, of course.
Ho iniziato nel 1998 e sono un produttore atipico. Senza esperienza ho iniziato un nuovo lavoro. Il vino non è una passeggiata, cioè devi avere esperienza, devi conoscere la vigna. Le Marche è una regione bellissima dove puoi trovare tutto, mare, collina, montagna, c'è una diversità di ambienti molto particolari.
Montepulciano is a red wine grape grown widely in central Italy, most notably in the Abruzzo, Marche, and Molise regions. It is a versatile grape and can make medium to fuller-bodied wines with different oak aging profiles. They can be easy drinking or more complex and suitable for more intense dishes.
Poi Montepulciano e Sangiovese.
Okay. And your soil here is soil calcareous, argile.
Calcare, argilla, limoso.
Limoso, sì.
Good for quantity. You cannot make the quantity
But
with
structure, acidità.
Bravo, esatto. E minerality.
Sì, minerality. Getting better. Il mio italiano è
Bravo!
non è bene.
Però piano piano. Come il mio inglese non è bello.
Sì. We work together. So you have south-facing slopes, is that right?
Mm-hmm, yes.
Yeah. How cold does it get at night?
In the night the temperature go down and have a lot of difference.
You have a big difference?
Yes.
Okay.
Benvenuti nella mia cucina in Italia. Non sono una vera cuoca.
Bellissimo. Perfetto. Prego.
Prego.
Welcome in our beautiful home.
This is the new vintage for the Gavigliano.
This is 2020.
Yeah.
So
Ask me every-
Verdicchio e Lacrima, sì?
Yeah. This is our selection.
È iniziato circa negli anni 50 da mio nonno con 5 ettari di vigneto coltivati a Verdicchio e Lacrima.
Verdicchio is a white wine grape variety that has been cultivated for hundreds of years in the Marche region of central Italy and one of Italy's most important grapes. It's a versatile variety used both for light, easy drinking wines and also for more complex, age-worthy examples. The typical markers of Verdicchio are an orange citrus character and a bitter almond finish.
Lacrima perché l'uva quando è giunta a maturazione, su maturazione si inizia a rompere la buccia, l'uva, e inizia a fare la gocciolina come se lacrima.
Lacrima is a special grape native to Italy's Marche region. Once more widespread, it is now used almost exclusively in the Lacrima di Moro d'Alba DOC wines. Lacrima is one of the few truly aromatic red wine grapes, and you get this wonderful burst of fresh-cut violets in the glass. It has a stark purple color and a dark fruit character. The word lacrima means tear in Italian, and it's probably a reference to the fact that the berries have a tendency to split, weeping juice down the outside of the bunch.
Oppure perché quando bevi molto lacrima piangere per...
Vin Diesel.
Altre queste non fanno mai male. Cosa pensi dei tuoi figli e dell'eventuale continuo dei tuoi figli?
Sono molto contenta perché
Abbiamo fatto questo percorso all'inizio con mio marito e quando i figli hanno incominciato a lavorare qui è stato un piacere, insomma sono contenta. Poi adesso iniziano ad essere autonomi e quindi sono contenta. A volte...
Non cry, non piangere.
No,
no lacrima.
You know, we're all different races, different genders, different countries of origin, but at the end of the day, we're all humans. We're all the same as humans, and wine brings us together.
Got the feeling in your bones, make you feel right at home. Honey, does it well, keep me dancing till I'm dead. 'Cause I could run a mile like this, head over heels feels like this. The sun has got me on my track, I ain't never looking back.
Ti piace? Ah, ti dispiace. So today I want to show our Prosecco. I'd like to show the Verdicchio.
Deep inside the depths of stone, voice will echo, need no phone. Ruled by the laws above, nature shows me, makes me taught. I could climb this mountain now, rise above the clouds and see. Well, oh, the force that kept me strong, never did I mean no wrong. 'Cause I ain't looking back. Ain't looking back. Ain't looking. Ooh, ain't looking back. Ain't looking. Yeah, ain't looking back. Ain't looking. Ooh, ain't looking.
So wide roots.
Yes, so I'm about 9 months in the market at this point. I launched just before the holiday. Specialize in it. Sorry, go ahead.
In the middle of the pandemic.
Yes. I planned it.
Bold or crazy or both. Yeah.
I try to stick off the beaten path, finding interesting things that are good value.
I mean anything except for Tuscany.
Pretty much.
This is a Lacrima di Moro d'Alba. It's from Lacrima di Moro d'Alba is Moro d'Alba and Castelli di Jesi have some intersecting land. So the winemaker operates on that intersection of land.
Ever see offerings?
Here,
Like the Moro.
yeah, once in a while, but pretty few and far between.
Oh, when they're good, they have that like grapey, sagey nose. You know?
For me, the violet character stands out on this one. It does see a little bit of time in oak, just to balances the fruit and the floral characters. So the fourth wine I have is a Cannonau from Sardinia. This is 100% Cannonau, stainless steel aged. It's a pretty pure expression of the terroir.
The Lacqua del Moro has like personality, good fruit.
Yeah.
This is a little disappointing. I want to see your book. You have an interest in interesting things. That doesn't hurt. You know, you're not just trying to move boxes, though you got to move boxes.
Right. Coming into the business, I'm looking for shelf space, and so this is my strategy to get shelf space is to go where others aren't going as much.
Yeah, that's. If you have things that are good, eventually it becomes a brand that does something for you. So, okay, good luck.
Again, thank you. Appreciate the opportunity. It was nice to meet both of you. Nice. All right, so now we are in Valtellina. This is from Pietro Nera.
Yeah.
This is, you carry the Cellar, which is one of the cruise sites in Valtellina. This is from their Valgella vineyard. So we're just launching this. Nice. So what I learned about Nebbiolo while I was in Valtellina is it's later ripening. Because it's later ripening, you get more tannic ripening also. So the tannins are a little softer, maybe finer grained expression than you would get in Piemonte. But you still get a lot of the same Nebbiolo characters.
Did you hear anything about climate change favoring Valtellina?
Yes. Yeah. They indicated that it works. It seems to work in their favor.
Yeah. That's one of our favorite regions to introduce people to. Good Nebbiolo for not Barolo prices.
Yeah.
Great lineup.
Anything you see potential for when you place your next order?
Yeah, definitely. I will take every Nebbiolo ever. Very excited about the Traldiga too, and the Ionica. Everybody. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Yeah. Good lineup.
One.
Are there any that you think might be a fit with your menu?
Aside from all of them, one at a time. Daniela, you start. Quali pensi che vadano bene con il cibo?
Sicuramente il vermentino, Cannonau con lamb, and
A me è piaciuto molto il
beef.
Nuragus con il pesce. With a lot of the seafood dishes.
With the salmon and branzino, vermentino, and this.
I would put it this way: each wine has a place on our menu with something. Definitely.
I love the sound of that.
Yeah, you can taste bits of the island and everything in it.
Yeah.
There's a heartbeat of the island in each bottle.
Go.
Don't mess with a man with channel locks in his hand. Oh, they broke down some of the pallets, I guess.
Okay, salute. Here's to putting all our chips in the middle of the table. Got a lot of wine to sell.
I'm taking pictures of some of the things that we have a lot of stock of. I'm gonna show Stacy. There's our Longavello that just came in.
Okay. How much of this Bovale do we have?
I ordered 10 boxes of it, I think, so
Okay.
there's probably 9 boxes left.
Okay.
And we have
6 packs.
we have a couple magnums too.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah, this just came in from Londi.
That's the Classico or the...
This is the Terra del 91 actually.
Okay.
So it's Superiore.
It's funny, I had somebody who was interested and they're like, we might do this by the glass, we just want to make sure that it's going to, no inventory issues. So it's good to see that.
Oh yeah, we're flush.
Yeah.
I say let it rip. There's our magnums right there, the Bovale.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, let's move a couple pallets.
I like it.
When I talk to buyers, when I talk to customers, I usually try to find what it is that they are interested in personally, what they drink, if if they drink bourbons or if they like, if they like crisp green apple Chardonnays, I can then try to say, okay, try this varietal or taste this. It's very similar, it's got similar profiles. And so that's been really helpful when it comes to putting people onto Italian wines, putting them onto new Italian wines. It can be challenging, especially because there are so many varietals that have multiple names, so many varietals that have names that don't match. And then also on top of that, is it named after the grape? Is it named after the town? Is it named after the people who originally planted the grape variety? So that can be a challenge, it can be a barrier, but I do the best that I can, explaining to people, this is the grape, this is the town, and trying to differentiate that. Yeah, sometimes I have trouble with the pronunciations, so do the best that you can.
Is 90% Montepulciano, I can say that word. 36 at 11.10.
So somebody floor stacks with 6-packs, how many would they typically, would they buy, because usually you do it with 3 12-packs, but how many 6-packs would you do it for?
This double the amount, because then you
Okay.
would need the one in front, one in back, just to make the 12 bottle case.
So I'll do 1233 on, that's not, actually that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I was
does
like,
it?
I don't like that.
Doesn't make sense.
Can we do 1167 on 36?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi there.
Hey, how are you?
Fine, thanks. How's it going?
Well, very well, thank you.
Would you like to try some wines?
Yes.
All right. You want to try red? Okay. Hi there.
How are you?
Fine, thanks. How's it going?
Good.
Do you want to try some wines?
Sure.
Okay. You want to try some wines?
Sure.
All right.
Okay.
You want to try some wines? Okay. I think there's some boldness in the fruit character, but the tannin's probably a little bit softer than you would find in a cab, so it's maybe a little more approachable. As you get farther south in Italy, the dishes will pick up a little bit more spice. So if you're looking to pair with, spicy food can be tough to pair with wine. Because of the fruit character in this wine, I think this would pair really well with a dish that had a little bit of spice in it.
Mexican dish.
The fruit will be a little bit more ripe on this, maybe a little bit, almost more like a baked character versus the Negro is more like crisp and fresh. And that's really a difference in climate, how that plays a role.
Good. Very good.
Thank you.
Glad I looked at my email.
Oh, thanks for tasting.
No, these are good, and they're available in there.
Yes, they're available inside.
There's no way I could go home without these. You're welcome. Well, thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Very good.
Sure, it's nice to meet you. Thanks for tasting.
There's an old saying in the wine business that says, if you want to make a small fortune in the wine business, you have to start with a large one.
How much money do I need to get started? And it really is, it seems like the universal first question. The second one is often, and how soon before I make money? The second one is sort of crystal ball gazing, but the first one is a lot easier for me to answer. And that is whatever you have that is sufficient to cover some wine, some business setup, and you can have a home office in most states, and just the general warehouse and startup costs will enable you to get established in business. You don't have to bring in a container of wine. You can bring in a pallet, and a pallet is generally around 56 cases. You can bring in a few cases and see how they sell. You can do some pre-sales. You can really pare down your expenses as a startup so that your budget can be quite small. Be budget conscious. You still want to make a profit. You still want this to be successful. So don't overextend and just work within your means.
Kind of inspiring in a crazy sort of way. And part of me was kind of looking at it, you know, as we were starting to become friends and really kind of questioning his judgment, but also very much rooting for him to accomplish something amazing when everybody else was really kind of battening down the hatches and pulling into themselves. He was reaching out and trying to do something new. So not very many people take a risk like that, especially not now. And I was facing some of the same choices myself in my career. And it kind of helped me to make a little bit of a jump myself and realize that we couldn't put our lives on hold.
The beauty of what Russ is doing, and I think what I've had the opportunity to do in the wine industry as well, is to find something we're really excited and passionate about and find a way to make a living at it, all the while making friends and community and memories. And it's what gets us out of bed in the morning, you know?
Upwards and onwards, and I think that Russ is doing a wonderful job, so cheers.
When I drink wine with him, I can genuinely feel his passion behind what he does. He not only loves wine, but he loves the history, where it comes from, and more importantly, the people behind the grapes. When I met him, he started as a wholesaler with 2 wine producers under his belt. Now he represents 13 wine producers, 12 from Italy and 1 from Spain. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause for the founder of Wide Roots and certified Italian wine ambassador, my friend, Mr. Russ Lorber.
It's honestly an honor for me to stand in front of you tonight and talk about my wine, so thank you as well. You know what wine is really about? It's about us in this room sharing a glass, sharing our experiences with one another, and toasting to one another. When you go to Italy, wine is about family, friends, and celebration. So friends, tonight we celebrate, and I toast to you. Thank you for coming out here and supporting us. Filming? All right. Wait a second. All right, here we go.
Decided to become a wine importer. Spent my money, now I got lots of wine. Decided to become a wine importer. Spent my money and I got lots of wine. Don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but if I don't sell it, then it's all mine. We're having a big party.
Where are you looking? This. You. Oh.
Ciao. Ciao. Valtellina.
Hi, Mom.
Nebbiolo delle Alpi. Grazie, amici. Grazie.
I already have that.
This is the real thing. It was for some buyers. This is the real thing.
Ah,
Oh
of
yeah.
course.
Top off.
No, because the camera. No.
I like how you think.